Well, hello friends and welcome back. I am so glad to see you. I have been a bit quiet around here for about the last month. If you didn't notice, that's okay. I won't get my feelings hurt. I guess you could say that I've been taking a bit of a silent sabbatical, or at least that's kind of what I've been calling it. It's not something that I planned to take. It just felt right in the transition of seasons, which I'm going to be talking a bit about as we go forward with this video. In short, I basically just realized over the last month or so that my life for the last few years has been so focused on productivity and not enough on presence that I just really needed to get those priorities in line. And as our family seasons are changing, which I sort of alluded to in my last vlog, we are definitely in a different phase of parenthood, of childhood, of familyhood, if you will. Things just look a lot different for us now than maybe they did a few years ago when I first started my channel. So I just want to share with you as we go throughout this video a little bit about where we've been, where we are now, and maybe where we're headed both in life as well as with this channel and what it might look like. I am loosely calling this our year of living and I don't mean that we haven't been living the last few years. I have so much loved the little years with my girls, being home, being single income has been mostly single income, you know. I've shared about that before, but I'll touch on it a little bit more in this video as well. But it has been the single most satisfying dream that's ever been fulfilled of mine. It's also been such a blessing for our home and for our family, and I just really feel like the Lord has, one, blessed us to even allow it to happen in the first place, but then two, blessed us within that to be able to really have a lot of flexibility to pray through things and make decisions that we felt He was leading our family to make, which were just absolutely amazing. So anyways, we'll talk about that some, but for now I just want to get started with a little bit of homemaking. I have a recipe that I'm going to try out this morning and I'll share with you. And yeah, then we'll just talk about what the future might hold. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Megan. I have two daughters. One is 5 and one is 3. And my husband is in law enforcement. He works night shift. Yeah, I'm just really glad you're here. If you enjoy this, if you like real life, if you enjoy cozy motherhood and homemaking, I would love for you to subscribe and follow along. But now that we're all acquainted, let's get to it. The last few years, homemaking has honestly been one of the most grounding parts of my life. There was something really beautiful about just slowing down and building rhythms inside our home, learning how to care for our space, care for our family, and honestly, care for myself in a way that felt steady and peaceful. Not necessarily perfect all the time, but I felt like the last few years have been so impactful in learning. Like, there's been such a learning curve that comes with cooking from scratch and really just tending to a home day in and day out, like managing the systems of a home, which has been what I've taken on as my primary responsibility, nurturing and nourishing the walls of our home as well as the people inside the walls of our home. But I don't think I realized how deeply these rhythms were really shaping our family until recently. Lately, though, I have felt a very gentle shift, not away from home, but maybe more towards letting home become the place that supports our life instead of the place that holds all of it. I still love these small resets, just spending a morning at home, cleaning, picking up, working on some meals or snacks for our family, refreshing spaces, and just doing things that are a little bit aesthetic, but not basing my entire life around those things. So now these things just feel like little anchoring moments all throughout my day. Presence is starting to mean something a little bit different to me now, though. It's less about doing everything perfectly and more about making room for the moments that matter most. When we do come back together, it's about that still being where we find our home within each other and within these walls. I don't know if any fellow moms can relate, but especially during the little years, looking back now, I can see much more clearly. As Natalie Bennett has said before, there's this sort of toddler fog that you find yourself in as a mom, and it's really hard to do much other than survive. And now that we're coming out of that fog, I really can look back and say, like, man, I was in such survival mode over the last few years. that and I think a lot of moms are similar in this, would just graze all throughout my day, just snack, just barely get by, and hardly sustain myself at all with nutrients or any kind of wellness focus in order to make sure that everyone else was getting fed, in order to make sure that we were making it from one nap to the next or until bedtime, or, just it was so different than what it has been recently. However, I am realizing that taking care of a home also means learning how to take care of myself. And it's sad that I'm learning this now. I wish that I had implemented a lot of this prior to having kids, but it's okay. I'm trying to take care of myself now in a way that allows me to show up fully for the people around me. And I give myself grace because I know that I've only been doing the best that I knew how to do, the best that I thought I could do in the last several years. But over these past few months, I've really been leaning into rhythms that support my own wellness too. For example, I joined a gym, which honestly felt selfish and a little bit intimidating at first, but I have absolutely fallen in love with it. And it's not something where I go and lift weights. I did a lot of that in high school and college. I was not interested in getting back into that, but I have been doing a bar class. They have it 3 days a week, and then a couple days a week, maybe I'll just go and ride the bike or the elliptical or do a yoga class. I just kind of play it by ear and really try to pay attention to what my body is telling me that I need that week and that day and in that moment. So it's been so refreshing being able to give my body that kind of attention, as well as paying attention to how I'm nourishing my body with food. So specifically, I've been adding a lot more protein and building meals that just give me energy that's steady throughout the day, that doesn't cause huge crashes, that doesn't lead me to want to snack all afternoon and like eat sweet treats in bed late at night, because I am starting to understand that when I'm cared for, it overflows into how I care for my family. And I don't know that I fully believe the whole sentiment of like, you can't pour from an empty cup, because I think that the Lord is going to provide through all of these things. Like, it's His strength that we're reliant upon. And sometimes He does allow us to get to a breaking point so that He can step in and receive the glory. But I can truly say that my mental clarity is so much better whenever I am eating well, whenever I have moved my body and released some endorphins. I really just find myself so much less likely to become agitated or snippy or overstimulated, as a lot of people, it's like a buzzword these days for moms especially, but in general, having more food in me that's not just junk and basically just empty calories feels so much better all around. And I don't know if it just takes like getting to this point to really believe in that and then try it for yourself, because I had heard these things but thought like, okay, but I don't have any more bandwidth in my brain to put towards learning something else. If you can relate on any level of what I just said, I do plan and hope to just share some nourishing recipes as we go forward, like maybe even one each video. I'm not sure exactly how it'll play out, but that's kind of my thought process, is to share just one protein packed simple meal option or snack option each video, and that way maybe other moms can benefit from kind of what I've learned before I learned it. Like maybe you guys can have all of this while your kids are still little and you're in that season of kind of desperation but also bliss, and it's all just a whirlwind. I would love to be able to offer that as we move forward. It just astounds me how long it took me to realize these things, because I did grow up doing so much of this all my life. I was in so many sports. I was, oh my goodness, always on the go with practices and games and tournaments and whatever else. But seeing how that carries into motherhood, I didn't understand the connection. And now that I'm seeing it play out, it's like, oh, obviously this makes so much sense. Okay, I didn't get to let them chill quite as long as it said to. It said to let them sit for 10 or 20 minutes in the fridge. They sat for maybe 5. I need to go pick up my youngest daughter from preschool in a few minutes, so I just wanted to do a quick taste test before I go. Very peanut buttery. Let me get some water. Very good, but very peanut buttery. Man, kind of gives your mouth a workout when you're eating it. It's got kind of like the sourness of fruit, probably from the strawberries and that monk fruit sweetener and the cream cheese. But it's not overpowering because really the peanut butter is what you taste the most of, and probably like flour and the protein powder help to mellow it out some. But definitely recommend. Each ball is approximately somewhere between 10 and 14 grams of protein is what the recipe said. So serving size would be like 2. Anyways, I wanted to talk briefly about one of my prior videos and kind of revisit the topic and talk about if it's changed or kind of where we are with that. I guess it was like a year and a half ago, I shared a video of basically me getting ready for my daughter's birthday party here in the yard at home. It was very much DIY. And while doing that, I had a voiceover talking about how we make it on a single income and kind of how we've gotten to this point, how it's possible, how it's practical, and then how it just is very supernatural in some ways. To this day, that is still my most watched video, like on a monthly basis. I'm not even talking like once upon a time, just like ongoing. That is still the one that receives the most views. I just wanted to chat like almost 2 years later and kind of go through maybe if we are still in the same situation or if it's still working for us to be single income, all of these different things. Now, I do have to add a little caveat because I did another video kind of along the same lines sometime after that. It was called like something about confessions of a single income, and basically what it comes down to is the fact that we have not been strictly single income hardly at all since we like took this leap of faith and I quit my job in the full-time workforce. But we have largely and like fully relied upon my husband's income to pay our bills. And then anything that I would make would just be nice extra, wonderful cushion, good savings, fun money, those kinds of things. So I've now been staying home almost 4 years, which so crazy. In that time, I have had an Etsy shop, which I got incredibly busy with. I could not keep up with the demand, and I had a newborn at home, a not even 2-year-old, and I have to preschool a few days a week. And I just, at some point, got so burnt out and was like, okay, this is not worth it. I'm not making enough for my time right now. I have worked at my daughter's little half-day preschool when they were both there. I taught there for 2 years and a little extra because after I stopped the Etsy shop, I worked there for like the last month of school before summer and then picked up the next 2 years working there the full year, overlapping with this YouTube thing. So I have had a little bit of extra income coming in all along the way. I don't want to present this in any way as like I have made nothing because it has been a blessing and it has helped us be able to go and do fun things and like me get sweet gifts for the girls around holidays and things like that. So without that, we would have been a lot tighter than what we've been. But now I'm still making a little bit off of YouTube. We are probably the most single income than we've ever been at this point. And it's very interesting because my girls are now old enough that they are so independent, and like the Lord led us to do schooling outside the home, which we did not anticipate from the jump. I knew that we were going to homeschool, and then when it came down to it, I just really felt like the Lord telling me to pump the brakes, and he led us in a completely different direction. If you have been around, then you've seen that one too. And if you haven't, I'll link it here in a card because I explained that whole process and how we just had such peace with the schooling option that we ended up choosing. Thankfully, our state does offer a scholarship program. So it's a private school, but it's fully funded through that scholarship program. Can't tell you how wonderful that is. I would be lying if I feel like I would be lying if I was not honest and upfront about the fact that I have applied to some jobs in the recent weeks. And I have not heard back from any of them. And I've been very selective about the jobs that I've applied to, simply because the school that we chose for our kindergartner does not have a bus route. It's all reliant upon parents taking their children and picking them back up. Their days are shorter, so they don't even have like an aftercare program. Like a full-time job is still not an option. And we still have complete peace about that. I still help out some in my daughter's preschool, but it's so minimal and my schedule is so limited because I'm a taxi essentially that it's not much each month. It's something, but it's not. I have really been just trying to like reassess and reevaluate while still keeping space for what matters most, for being intentional within my home, for being intentional with my family. I've absolutely loved deep diving into nourishment recently and wellness. So very thankful for this flexibility and time that I've had in the last month or so to do that. But are we still making it work on a single income? Probably the most single income we've ever been. Yes, I would say so. We don't keep like a super tight budget, but I've been, checking it. I love to color code, make spreadsheets, reconcile. So we've been really watching it over the last month or so. We did a really good job last year up until like July or August. You get to a point where you're like very comfortable with the average of what's coming in and then knowing how much you're able to let go out. And so it just isn't something that I always keep up with all that well, but we do like to revisit it every so often. So we're still going to be watching the budget. We're still going to be having to be very practically minded about these things. But like I said earlier, I feel like this is our year of living. And when I say that, we've been living for the last several years, but it feels like our year of living outside the walls of our home. And like I mentioned previously, I have loved my time inside the walls of my home. I'm such a homebody. I will never trade that for anything. But now that my girls are able to go and do and like experience more and enjoy more outside of our home, I feel like we are in this sweet spot before they're too cool to want to do things with the family. And now they're able to do things with the family. Like we're just right here in the sweet spot, and I know it won't last long. So with that, going and doing and experiencing costs money. And so we are trying to be very strategic about how we do these things. Thankfully, last year, praise the Lord, we got a camper, and I'm so thankful for that. It's something I've wanted for a really long time. And so we already have like 5 camping trips planned for the year, I believe, plus a family vacation this summer, which I'm not going to spill all those beans yet. I probably won't vlog it, so I don't know that it'll matter, but maybe I will. And so I want you to be surprised by that. We just have a lot of fun things planned, and I want to take you along. But in that, I want you to know that all of my vlogs are not going to be inside my home anymore. It's going to be a mixture of both, most likely. And my posting schedule probably won't be quite as regular as it has been in the last few years. Because like I said, I am trying so hard to focus on being present with my family. I just need you to know that if you've been around for a bit, it might look different than it has in the past. And I am excited for it. I hope that there'll still be storytelling, there'll still be memory making that's captured here, but there will also be growth as our family is growing. My channel is growing and evolving into this new thing too. It's going to be branching outside the walls of our home, and I want to take you along on some of those adventures. I have plans for vlogging our camping trips and the prep and the systems that go into that, along with the memories that are made on those. So all in all, we are still single income, and we are still having to be very budget wise on the things that we go and we do, but we still get to do a lot of fun stuff on not a lot of funds. And I think that that's not talked about enough, because it really is possible. In some places, probably isn't. I got that comment so much on my original video, like depending on where you live and what the cost of living is, there's no way. And yeah, you're probably right. You are probably right, which is why you see so many people like selling their homes in California and New York and different states that are so expensive and moving to like Idaho. Like there is a reason for this, and I am very grateful that we live in North Georgia, that we always have been, that we were born and raised here, that our family is here. We tried to do life without being close to family for the first several years of our marriage. And it was very different, like living where we live now, being so close to both sides of our family is such a blessing. At the same time, we sold our house that we had built in order to move into this house because it cut our mortgage in more than half in order for us to live single income. So even in states where like it's doable, there's still that sacrifice. And I've never really thought of them as sacrifices because it's always been my dream to be here. But, there were some things that had to be traded and swapped in order for this to be made possible. So I just really feel like if it's something that deep, deep down in your heart, you really want to do, and like your whole family is in on that dream, that's a whole other conversation because my husband wasn't for a long time. And so we can talk about that some other time if you want. But let me know in the comments if that's something that is of interest to you, because I know that it can be a bit of a challenge whenever you feel so led and drawn to something that you feel is good and would be beneficial for your family, but everybody in the house, everybody in the conversation is not on board. So let me know if that's you. I would love to share a little bit about it because it would not in any way be like a gripe session or a bashing on my husband. I truly believe that the Lord used his leadership in that decision and in the timing of that decision to teach me a lot and to grow my respect for my husband, if nothing else. So I would love to talk more about that, but I don't want to bore you with unnecessary details if that's not something that a lot of people can relate to. I think I would just say, like, if I could recommend one mindset or like takeaway from this whole conversation of single income and how do you make it work and is it actually possible, it would be just in general, be open-minded and willing to serve. Like, that's a huge part of it. I know this was a lot coming off of over a month of not posting whenever I've been regularly posting every week, if not twice a week for the last couple of years. I feel like so much life has happened and I just needed to catch you up a little bit, give you a little insight as to where we are and where we're going. I'm so glad that you're here and I hope that you will come back next time. It's been really nice to be able to take a step back recently and clear my head, realign with the priorities that I have in life, and just to focus on my family. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you are having a great day wherever you're at, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.